Okay, today we are going to learn about template. Okay. In the FAST API, we can connect to one of the library that is Jinja. So last week we learned about Jinja, and today we are going to extend the Jinja, and we are going to use some basic template. First, we are going to learn some basic control flow with Jinja. And then in the second hour, we are going to look at the inheritance. So this inheritance is similar to the inheritance in the object-oriented programming. And in the last part, we are going to learn about filter and some template variation. In this session, we are going to learn some of the topics about the control flow. For example, if else. I think this is the most common programming language. So you can also use in any programming language like Python, Java, but we will use this one in the FAST API and using Jinja. Okay. We are going to use the for loop, for else loop variables, and set. And yeah, the discussion is about the expression. What is expression? What are statements? And what are comments? So we'll take a look one by one. We call it template or basic template. There are some template elements. The template elements are the syntax that server, that is FAST API, because we are using the FAST API, understand to execute the commands. So the template element allows us to do some programming on the server before sending the HTML to the client. And we can use some of this expression. Last week, we learned about this expression using the curly braces, two curly braces. So this is about expressions, and it is for the variable placeholder. Whenever you have a variable, for example, last week we used name, then you can put in between the two braces. Statements. So statements, it is about the basic control flow. We are going to take a look about if, for, and etc. using this statement. This one is for the commands. It is for writing commands or descriptions. Now, let's take a look at the control flow that we can learn from this basic template. In the FAST API, there are some control flows that we can perform with the Jinja template. For example, we can use if, else, and then for, loop variables, and set. So we're going to look at those four. Now let's create a new project. And the project structure is as follows. You will have the project, and then let's create one Python file, and let's create one folder or directory where the directory name is templates, and let's make one HTML file. So this is the HTML that the client will access on it. Okay, then I will go to the PyCharm. Let me create a new project. So I guess you already know how to create a new project. We can go to a new project. And in this section, in this panel, you can see we can choose the pure Python, Jupyter, FAST API, Flash, Django. Okay. I found out that when you install the PyCharm at the first time, you got 30 days trial. So I guess all of you also have the same as this one. So we got the advantage to use the Fast API. We got the advantage to use Django. But after 30 days, maybe this will disappear. Maybe. Okay. But anyway, we still have 30 days. After 30 days, let's take a look. Okay. If we cannot use the Fast API here, then we need to use some manual way. So we need to define what is the main method to execute the Fast API. Anyway, let's create a new project. We are going to create the Fast API. And you can make any name for the Fast API. Let's suppose I'm creating a basic template. Okay. So you can choose your own project name. And then this one is to create the Git repository. So if you want to connect to your Git, you can use this one, but let me just use the local, okay, instead of the GitHub. And then you can create the environment. Yeah, if you want to create a new one, then it means you want to create in the project. If you want to select the existing one, you can use from the existing Python. Now, because this is the trial version, I guess you can use this existing one. But once the trial version finishes, or once the trial version expires, I think you need to use the virtual environment. Okay. Anyway, let's try just using the virtual environment at this project. Then let's create. So it automatically will create the main API, main.py. And then this is the main.py code. I already gave you the structure. So we have the main.py, and then let's create one folder of templates, and then let's make one file, home.html. So I will create one folder or one directory, and let's put the name templates. And then let's create one HTML file. And let's create it, the name is home.html. Now you can see on the left panel, we have the main.py, and then we have one file, HTML file, home.html, and this file is inside the folder templates. And now let's do the code. So after you have this structure, let's do the code. Now the first code I distinguish into two. So you can see here, which is the Python file and the HTML file. For your convenience, you can check that the Python file will be in the green color. Later on, when you use the HTML file, it will be in the blue color. Okay, so please let me know if something's not correct about this one. Now, the main.py will be like this one. Okay, so let's just copy and paste. I give you the PDF file. Let me know if you cannot copy and paste this code, because last time I tried to copy and paste, but the string becomes broken. So you gotta just copy and paste. So if you have any problem, let me know about the string. So I will copy and paste this text, and then I will put it into the main.py. So last week we already learned about the Jinja. We learned about Jinja. We are going to use this Jinja. And first we will create the app from the Fast API. And then we are going to use the Jinja to set up where is your HTML file. So the HTML file will be in the directory templates. Okay. This directory refers to the directory templates that you already designed. And then when you start your project, when there is nothing or the link is home, then you will call this method, which is home. And then we want to give a response. So the request will be the request from the client. And then we are going to access the home.html. So it means we are going to access this HTML file. And then let's set up one name or one variable. Name, we will use it in the HTML file, and the value of name is off. So the value here you can design in the server. So later on we will look at how to design this name in the server. Next week we are going to use database. So the data on the database can be delivered to the server via this context. After we have the main.py, we need to set up the HTML file. In the HTML file, let's create the home.html and let's copy this and put on the HTML file. In the home.html file, you can see we have the head. Okay, in the head section, we have the title, the meta. Yes, I think you already learned this one. Meta means something to describe the HTML file that you are going to use. In this case, I'm going to use the character of UTF-8. And then I'm just having a title, hello template. For the body, I'm using the H1, which is the header, or the heading one, hello, and I'm using an expression. In this case, going to put the name. So where is the name? This is the variable name that you already got from main.py. So this is the name. And we know that the name, the variable name has a value of, then this value will be delivered to this page. Okay, let's take a look about this one. Jinja must be installed. Okay, because we are using a new environment, I guess we need to install one more time in this local environment. Install Jinja. What happened? So last week we used the Jinja. Oh, sorry, Jinja 2. Okay, let me repeat. Jinja 2. Okay, so the Jinja already installed well in this computer. Now let me rerun. Okay, no problem, no error. So please, if you use the virtual environment, you need to install again the Jinja 2 in your PyCharm. And then let's take a look. Okay, you can get the result, hello how. Okay. So if you change this name into Yongin, then I need to refresh this one. Then when I refresh this one, now it becomes hello unit. Okay, the value that you put on the server, it will be delivered to the HTML file. Now let's take a look on the if statement. We know in Python, we will use if statement for any conditions. So it is to check the conditional statement, in this case, using the Boolean. So if the condition is true, then you will do some statement. If the condition is false, you can check the else if. So it is to check additional conditional statement if the if condition is false. It is optional. It means you can have else if. You also can just ignore the else if. Else is to execute if all above conditions are false. So if the condition for if is false, else if is false, then you will execute the if. There is another kind of requirement when you use these if statements. You need to put an if to end the if function. Okay. Now let's take a look. Let's modify the main.py. Previously, I have only, I think the other part are the same. But now I'm adding only one statement. So the name is Huff, and I put one variable score, and let the score is 90. Okay. Okay, just let me just copy and paste. And then I put into the main.py. And yeah, as mentioned to you, there are two variables, name and score. You can easily define the variable values. For example, here, name is a string, and then score is an integer. Yeah, this is just the same like Python. You can define any kind of values as long as it is in the range of Python syntax. For example, this is string, integer, float. You can define just like you write the Python syntax. Now let's take a look on the HTML file. We have the home.html. Now let's modify. No, create some modify. Let's modify it. Now the modification, I'm adding the if statement. So let me go to the home.html. Okay, let's just copy and paste everything. Okay, now you can see the same statement before, which is about hello, and then we want to print the name. In addition, now we have the if statement. If score is higher than 80, and this is inside of the curly braces. The curly braces, but it is a statement. So you need to use the percent symbol. When you use the percent symbol, then you can follow with the control flow, which is the if. The other is the same with Python syntax. In this case, I'm just checking whether the score is higher than 80. If it is true, then let's print excellent. But this one will be printed in the HTML file. So we use P. So P is the paragraph in the HTML file. You can set up another kind of HTML. For example, you want to put this one as a heading, H1. or you want to put this one as UL, as the unordered list, and etc. So yeah, you can use any other element in the HTML. And then you need to finish with an if. If you don't have this one, then your HTML will be errors. Now let's take a look. We have the hello hub, and the result is excellent. This excellent is from the conditional statement. We have the excellent because the condition score is higher than 80. Okay. What about if it is wrong? Let me just put this 90. Then nothing. So the conditional statement is working well in this case. Now let's do with other kind of if statement. Okay, you can just copy and paste the if statement, or if you want to copy everything, it is also fine. Now let me just copy and paste the if statement. In the if statement, you can see that we have the first if. It is to check whether the score is higher than 80, then it will be excellent. If not, then we will check. The score is higher than 60, then it is good. At the end, you still need to use an if. Okay. Oh, why there's two bodies? Okay, let me just remove this. Let me check. The result is excellent. Okay, because the score was 90. How about if I change the score into 70? Okay, let me change the score into 70. And let me save the file, Control S, and then let me check. Now the result is good because the score has been updated to 70. Okay, now the score is 70. Then by looking at the if statement, if the score is higher than 80, it is excellent. If this is false, we go to the next elif. If the score is higher than 60. Okay, if this is correct, then we will print good. Okay, we will not print excellent. And at the end, you still need the ending. Oh, I put this one. Now the score is 70, for example. Okay, the other kind of code will be the same. Now you can just modify any value for your value of the variables. And after you have another value, now let's figure out how if we use the if, elif, else, and any. So we use if, elif, else, and any. So I will just copy and paste this part. The statement here, if the score is higher than 90, we will show the grade 8. If the score is higher than 80, so we have the elif. then the grade is B. If it is not, so if both statements are false, then the grade is C. Okay. And let's rerun again. Now we can see the grade is C. Why it is C? Because the value that we put is 70. And then based on this conditional, it is not higher than 90. And it is not higher than 80. Then we will print the grade. And at the end, please do not forget that you need to put and if. Okay? It is not the same with the Python syntax, where in the Python, you can just put the if, elif, and else. But in the Fast API with Jinja, you need to put and if. If statements, there are also operators. I think in Python, you also have this kind of operators. We call it the AND or not operators. It accepts AND or not for testing multiple variables or to negate a given variable. For example, if you use AND, it means both conditions should be true to result the true. If you use not, then it is to negate a given variable. If you use or, either condition should be true to result true. Okay. Now, let me give you another kind of variable. We are going to use three variables: name, exam, attend. Okay. Sorry, there are many typos. So I'm going to use a Boolean. So the Boolean means the variable attend, it is true or false. Okay, so this is true. And the exam score is 70 and the quiz score is 75. Okay, I'm going to use this data. Now, let me just modify here. Now we have the new data where the attend it is true and the exam is 70 and the quiz is 75. Now let me design a new if function. So I will copy and paste this one. Now there is a condition. If the exam is higher than or equal 80 and the quiz is higher than or equal 75 or attend. So you pass the false. What does it mean? We have or. Or means either the condition is true, okay, either one is true, then it will be true. So if it is true, if it is false, you can just get the true statement. If it is true, if it is false, you can go to the true statement. But for this one, we have n. N operators means both of them should be true in order to get the true statement. Then the exam, if it is higher than 80 and if the quiz is higher than 75, then the condition will be true. By the variable, okay, exam is 70 and the quiz is 75. Okay, exam is 80 then it is false. False and true, then the result is this one is false, this one is true, then the result will be false because we use AND operator, so both of them should be true in order to get true. Now this condition is false and this condition is true. Either one of the condition is true, then the result will be true. Then you will get this result in the HTML file. So you pass the course. That's why you can see you pass the course. Okay. That's how we use the and or operators. It will be good if you put the parentheses when you use the and or operators. So if the condition is true, then you will print this one, you pass the course. Else, you will print you fail. Again, don't forget to put the and if. So we can do something more complicated with the if statement. For example, I want to check the attendance. So this statement, if not attend. So if the attend value is not true, then please report to the instructor. And then if it is true, then thank you for your attendance. Using not, it means the negate. Okay. So if you look at this one, maybe you will see the result is thank you for your attendance. Okay. Next is about for statement. We can use a for statement. It is to repeat the process until it satisfies certain conditions. And because we are using the Jinja, we need to put the and for. So at the end of the statement, we need to use and for to end the for function. Now, we will do something more with the data. We will have the name, we have score, and we have list of courses. So the remaining of part, it will be the same, it will be the same, it will be the same, and we are using the templates. So when we go to the link, there's a request, and now we have a new data. So this data is about the list of courses. So list of courses will be Python, Java, C++. And then we will return the templates response. First, we will check the request, and then let's call the home.html, and then put the name, put the scores, and courses. So if the data is a list like this one, you can just put the variable name, which is courses, into this value. So the HTML will understand that the value is a list. Okay, now let's modify the main.py. Okay, we have a list of courses, and then you will put the courses into this variable, and then now let's do something so that the HTML can check the data. Okay, let me just use this code. I will update the HTML file. So I'm using the if statement. If the score is higher than 90, we will show grade A. If not, then let's check the score, whether it is higher than 80, then it is grade B. If it is not, then let's print grade C. Now we have a UL. You still remember UL? UL. This is unordered list. This unordered list means you will put maybe dot when you print, and then you will check what are the lists that you want to show. Here I have the for loop for course. This is the variable that we are going to use in courses. So courses are the variable that you use from the server. So we call the variable from the main.py. In the main.py, we put the name courses. Okay, we put the name courses. Then we call courses here. And for every courses, we will put into this loop. So the first course will be here. And then we will have this loop index. Okay. So if you can pay attention on this one, for a curly braces with the percent, it is for the control flow statement. The control flow statement. For the curly braces, the double curly braces, it is for the expression. So here, yeah, loop.index. So we will take a look. What is it? And we want to call the variable, which is the course from this loop. Okay, so we learn at least those two. The statement in Jinja and the expression or the variable. If you run this, then you will see now it is in the list Python, Java, and C++. It will be shown in the HTML file. So this is using the UL unordered list, but we still have the 1, 2, and 3. So what is it? This is from the loop.index. So we have the statement for, and we need to finish with the end for. Okay. So we have for loop, for statement, and then we need to complete with the end for. For every data inside the for loop, I will go for each of the index, which is this one, and then I will show the data. So this is the explanation. In a for statement, we can use the loop attributes. So some of the attributes are as follows. If you use the index, then the index will start from 1. If you use the index 0, it will show the 0 base index. If you use first, then it will show where is the first item. And if you use last, it will show the last item. Now you can try. Okay, let me just copy and paste this one. Oh, okay, I missed something. I need to put the UL. Sorry, so there's many typos here. So it means I need to put the UL. Okay, when you write any HTML file, some of them are very sensitive. For example, yeah, UL. When you start with UL, you need to end with the /UL. But some of them are okay. For example, if you use BR, break, so you just use break like this one, then it is fine without ending or without starting of the BR. Anyway, if you have the error, please check what is the error message and then you can fix it. Now let's take a look on this for statement. I'm going to run this and then let's check the result. It starts from 1 and then now we have one more statement which is first subject. So what does it mean? When we do the loop, we will check the index. From the index, we know whether the element or the item, whether it is in the first index or at the last index. If, okay, I'm using if the loop dot first, so if it is the first index, let's print first subject. And then we need to put the end if, and we put the end for. That's why the result is like this one. One is Python, and then we can see the first subject. What about if we change? Okay, so this is the result. We have first subjects. Now, how about if you change to the loop dot last? Okay, so if you change this one into loop dot last. How about if you choose loop dot last? So we need to check the last index. And then if it is in the last index, we will print last subject. Then it will be after the C++. Okay. So it shows like this one, last subject. Yeah, you can do something more experiments. For example, if I change this index to index 0, then this is just to show that now the indexing will start from 0. Okay. This is just a very simple or minor modification. Okay, so you can try with your own. Next is about set. Set in Jinja is a little bit different with set in Python. So set, it is to set a new variables in the HTML file. So you need to set this one in the HTML instead in the server. So you can set a new string and or a computation. So now let's see. Yeah, because it is too long. So I think you still have this code before. Now this is the additional code that you can put into your HTML file. In this code, you will see a new statement about set. Okay, let me just copy and paste this one. So after the for loop, I'm putting the set message. So this set is inside the, again, curly braces with percent set, and then I'm having a new variable which is message, and this variable message, now I'm going to print welcome to Fast API. Okay. And then after I have this message, I'm going to print this message. So I'm going to print this message, and this is in the form of title. Okay, so we will take a look later what is title and etc. And then I'm going to set another variable. This is a total. So the total, it has not been defined in the server, but I'm defining this variable in the HTML file. So the total will be 0.5 multiplied by the score. So for example, I know the score from the min, yeah, it is 70. Now I'm going to set up a new variable total, but this variable total has been defined in the HTML. So the total will be 0.5 multiplied by score, and then I want to print the total. And you can run. So the new variable, which is the message, it will appear in the HTML, and the total, the new variable that you define in the HTML, will also appear and will show the result, which is 35.0. Okay, so this is the result when you execute the code. Okay, let's have a break. Okay, I will continue after the break.